Good morning, this is Randy. I wanted to talk about how difficult it is communicating with a man on certain subjects and the kind of reactions and responses that I've gotten. So, sexual addiction. Here's the kind of responses that I get when I will mention porn addiction or sexual addiction to a strange man, a man that I know. And I'm not like making it personal. It's not about me or anyone I know. It's just like that it exists. Just the concept of porn addiction and sexual addiction makes them so uncomfortable. And not only uncomfortable, but a lot of them will laugh. And they may be laughing out of nervousness, or many of them laugh or think I'm joking. They think I'm an ass because I believe that it exists. They laugh because they don't think it's possible. They don't understand what that term is really referring to, is what they act like. I don't know if they're playing a game, but they'll be like, everybody's sex addicted. Ha 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 ha. You know? Yeah. You know how guys will be like, yeah, I'm a lesbian because they like women. So, these kinds of conversations just make me hit the roof when I get a response like that. Men saying, you know, there is no such thing as sex addiction. That's like saying, you know, I'm addicted to breathing, or, you know, I'm addicted to eating. We have to have it, so you can't be addicted to it. All right, so porn addiction. They act like they don't know about that too. They've never read about it. They've never heard about it. They act like either they don't watch it, or they just have no clue about all the other men in the U.S. that are addicted to it. I guess they're under a rock, or I guess they don't maybe research the same things as I do. But I mean, I think this is it's pretty well known if you keep your eyes open and if you know anything about addiction. And if you ever go on the internet and you hear statistics about what sites are most visited on the internet, if you care anything about science, about, you know, repetitive compulsions, and I mean, most men and women have looked at porn on the internet at least once. But anyway, they just won't engage in a discussion about it unless they're an actual porn addict themselves, or a therapist that tries to help people to cure their porn addiction. They won't talk about it. Nobody, it's a tough topic. Nobody will talk about, especially men won't talk about it. And I mean, see, this is part of my assessment, guys. I mean, I need to know that somebody at least knows certain things exist and feels a certain way about it. And then that they're not the addict themselves, that they don't get real defensive immediately, because that puts my, antennas up, that when people get immediately defensive, it means this, I've already struck a chord just by like saying a word, just by saying sex addict. It strikes some kind of chord with some people, and they, react in a ridiculous manner, when this is like a totally serious, debilitating, common epidemic. And so if men are going to walk around acting like they don't know a goddamn thing about it, that is not a good sign either. I really have gotten very few men that just kind of can engage in a real short, conversation, either online or in person, about it, where I come out of the conversation thinking, okay, like, yeah, he's a normal person. He knows it exists, and he knows it's an addiction, and, he can empathize maybe with a little bit about how these kind of addictions affect other people and affect the person who's doing it. And he doesn't seem to overreact to, the words, and he can accept that this goes on in the world, and he's not been living under a rock. So anyway, that's one of the terms, that one of the things that I might mention to a man, to kind of assess and see how he reacts to it. Then there is sexual assault. Now, part of my job is, I work with people that have been abused a lot, emotionally, physically, sexually. It's my daily work. And there's claims of abuse every day. I would like to be able to discuss that, not the gory details, because I'm not present at the abuse, but at least like claims, and about how, whether or not there was an allegation that was true, or it didn't happen, or it did happen, and just be able to discuss. To me, it's just facts of life. There's trauma all over the place. And if a man can't like get in a, just like be neutral in hearing about things that happen to people like every day, all the time, I'm not going to be able to be with them. They can't get all squirmish about these topics, about people, that this happens to people, every day. And when they have a really weird reaction, like they just don't want to know about it or hear about it, well, that person is not going to be somebody I'm going to be able to get along with long term, because I talk about these things. It's got to be somebody who's like interested or doing the same thing, similar that I do, or somebody that's like in the field, or somebody that's like can remain neutral, not get all like totally triggered and upset. And the other thing is, if they get upset about it, like that might mean they have their own issues that they didn't work out. So like I can't be around somebody like that hasn't even like identified that they have issues. Because I'm not going to wait around for those issues to like come out and be projected on me. Hint, hint. So I definitely couldn't tell them that I was sexually assaulted. And I don't use that term, but I'm just talking about in my marriage, right? You can tell a guy, you were raped by your husband, and that'll be another thing that they laugh about. It's not possible to rape somebody, if you're married to them, right? So I don't go around saying that, but if the topic came up, let's say I was talking about somebody else, and they laugh and say, you can't rape your wife. Or they get real uncomfortable, like they think, oh my God, you're the type of person who supports those people who cry rape, like as if rape doesn't really exist, and you're just making false allegations that all the women who get raped really just are making false allegations, right? I've never made any allegation against my husband, okay, for rape. I could have, but I didn't, and I wouldn't. I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna try to get somebody put in jail. If for a stranger, yes, I would have. But I felt responsible. I mean, I married the guy, so it was up to me to handle it and get divorced, and I did. So I took care of it. I didn't think that that was something that I needed to put myself through, because I know that when you make allegations, you end up putting yourself through so much crap, and it wouldn't have been worth it. I mean, it would have been so hard to prove, especially against a narcissist. But aside from that, just telling somebody that you have ever been sexually assaulted, if you are a woman and you tell a man, they become, not all of them, but they're likely to become afraid of you, because at first they're like, oh, that they might be empathetic, or they might be like, oh, that's too bad, or I'm sorry that happened to you, like kind of a normal response. But then I get the feeling that they start maybe thinking about it, sinks in, and they're like, oh shit, this is one of those women I gotta stay away from. She cries rape. She's been assaulted, and I don't really know if it was really assault or not, but if she called the cops, this is some dangerous chick here, right? So, I mean, unless you get a hold of some super rescuer that has absolutely no boundaries, that just some guy that just wants to rescue the shit out of the poor victim, which, I've never seen one of them. I can't find a rescuer to save my life, because I guess I don't present as a victim. So I mean, that's all good to me, because I don't like those kind of guys anyways. I mean, those guys make me puke my guts out. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know what this video started to be about. I guess it was about how I cannot talk to men about certain topics. That's right. Just in normal conversations, and how you can't be like grown-up adults and talk about certain things in a neutral way without the man like freaking out, or getting completely turned off, or saying some things that put up a lot of red flags that you should stay away from this guy. Well, thanks for listening this morning to my bit of a rant. All right, have a good day.